Right, so the Silver Alps is about a road trip that goes horribly wrong. A brother and sister are trying to start a new life in the mountains, living in a cabin somewhere. It's quite remote. They don't quite realise how difficult it is going to get there and how much of a struggle it'll be considering the sister is coming off of addiction from drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of about trust in a way, like who do you trust when your trust has been broken? How do you know what's right and wrong? What even is right and wrong? So these are some of the things I'm exploring.
What do you want? Why are you here?
You wouldn't listen. I had to show you.
I saw it! I saw.
It's a very good picture. You're very bright. I bet not a lot of people will tell you that, but I can see it.
When's Mum coming?
Don't worry, you're safe. Here, I got you this.
And how long has the collaboration between the two of you been on it?
I don't know.
We started working on it at the National Script Workshop back in February.
Yeah.
So we had 2 weeks then, and then the cards fell in such a way that I was able to keep working on it at the festival now. So we're getting on half a year now.
Yeah.
But you've been writing it for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, it started out about 2012.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not full-time working on it, but it's gone through a couple of different development things, phases, programs. But I suppose what's interesting is that it's taken this long to sort of be able to talk about it a bit better. Like I thought I knew what it was about, but it's really only been over the last sort of concentrated periods looking at it that I've been able to go, yeah, that's what it is.
And what sort of, I suppose, are you going to use the word hook or something like that, or the fascination? What is that for you in the content? Like what's kept you boiling with it for 3+ years and obviously so engaged with it now?
I think what I'm kind of interested in with this work is the idea that you can kind of lose innocence. There's sections of the book Heidi that I've read throughout the story, and it's quite interesting to see how we now read such an innocent story with such cynicism.
I love those books, yeah.
Yeah, but if you read them now, it's a bit kind of, you go, oh, it seems a bit dodgy. And it's kind of like, is that,
deeply inappropriate.
Yeah.
You could not write that book now.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, so our own cynicism sort of destroys our innocence and happiness, I suppose. But what was the original inspiration was, I was reading all these forums about, it was actually quite heartbreaking, young guys who were worried that they were pedophiles. So it was these people who had never done anything that was actually breaking the law, but they were having trouble with controlling their thoughts and actions. They weren't sure what they would do. So I just kind of was reading all these stories, and it kind of humanized them, like obviously hearing from their own mouths how much they were trying to stop themselves from acting on their urges. And so I thought, there's something in that. Like I just thought I need to kind of explore that side of it, that this person who's battling with these things could actually be your brother or somebody that you know. And can you
Which,
instantly
of course, in
hate
no way
them?
are themes or bits of action of this play. We've not given anything away there at all.
No.
And no person's living or dead, entirely coincidental, all of that.
Yeah, they are all fictional characters. Yeah.
And so, is it the kind of, I suppose, the mystery of that fascinates you, or the?
I think what I get I play devil's advocate a lot, so I get quite interested in going, yeah, but maybe that person's not totally bad, like maybe they've done some bad things, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're irredeemable. So I guess I'm kind of interested in getting an audience to see people in a different way than they normally would, humanise people who are maybe battling with addictions or other urges. And sort of, show them their good sides as well as their bad sides.
I find the writing really engrossing from that perspective, because we're conditioned, aren't we, societally, to immediately judge the one action that is like the hottest thing that somebody does at any one moment. So every other bit of who you are is negated because of this one thing. And I think what's really fascinating in Max's writing is she could not write a binary character if she tried. The complexity becomes layered and layered and layered until you really are absolutely, in a good way, baffled by the intrigue and the intricacy of it all. And you're really kept guessing, I think, until the end.
And what's sort of, if you had to say, what sort of genre or style are you writing in?
Yeah, get out of that one.
We've actually had discussions about that. What sort of style is it? I mean, Tim was always going, that's a red herring, isn't it? So, you know, it sounds like a mystery or something in that regard. What I'm hoping to do is sort of set up enough points within the play where you're questioning what is actually going on, because the central character isn't. Like, her predicament is that she's sort of stopped questioning and she's just become really trusting of all the other characters. So, yeah, so in some ways it's kind of like her unravelling what's actually going on, what's going to happen at the cabin or not, what's happening with her brother or not. Yeah, so I guess a mystery.
Yeah, but also what you do is, because you know, you don't think like a naturalistic playwright. Yeah. So there's a bit of the protagonist's, I don't know, her soul or her psyche, or the little bit of her that is the conscience, that is the good and the bad angel rolled into one, figures quite heavily in the play as a character who lives behind walls and is continually trying to break through. So we're not really in any traditional playwriting territory. Here,
and what about in terms of process between the two of you? Is that...
I've been hiding behind the walls quite a lot.
I don't know. We've had in the first development, we had actors in the room for most of the time, so it would be a case of talking about it a lot. Sometimes we'd send them away and just discuss what is actually happening here, what do I want to say, what am I trying to do, is that the best place to put things? And then I'd go away and write overnight, come back, try new things. Yeah.
It's been fascinating because the world of the play is so murky, and trying to strip away that thing dramaturgically without rendering the play inert has been, you know, it's been a delicate process from the various dramaturgs and actors who, and I've been part of that process. But if ever you wanted the case for long-form development of a play, here we are halfway through the fourth week of creative development on this play, just with Playwriting Australia, not to mention real time. And only really on Friday of last week did we feel like we found the kernel of the thing we were trying to say. And if you wanted the advert for why players should be given the things that they need, it's here, because in any other development context, those couple of days that you had to work on this play would never have been able to elevate the writing to where it is now. And that's not particularly to do with the brilliance of the artists, although it's been a joy working with the amazing collaborators, but just because that's how long it took. You know, the questions were buried, and Max couldn't find what they were until we asked all of the other ones to get there.
Well, it is. I mean, it is such a thing, isn't it? That's one of the great things about contemporary dramaturgy, that everyone's onto this now. You know, it takes time. It's not something. It's not something you can just fix.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole very different idea to 20 years ago.
And you want it done before rehearsals start, in a sense, because in rehearsals there's going to be other things that crop up, and so it's sort of like, if you can't really even talk about what it is you're trying to do, it's going to be really hard once you get hit rehearsals.
Sure.
Oh yeah, we've all been through those.
Just forget rehearsing for 3 weeks and just fix the play.
Yes, and then oops, we've only got a week to put this on.
4 minutes. What are you going to wear? Where am I standing? I don't know. Can we talk about scene 4 again?
So, are there any plans for it beyond the festival at this stage? Or?
Not at this stage. No, nothing official. I mean, I'd love to see it put on at some point. Obviously, because it's still a mystery in a way how it will look in its final form. You know, I kind of have a sense of it in my head, but then once you're finally in the room, I'll see how the weird ephemeral sort of character works behind the wall or whatever she's doing. Yeah, but at this stage, nothing definite. Yeah.
I think it's really important this play gets put on, actually, for a number of reasons, but not least of which is mostly we tend to think of the weirdy shit as being done not by playwrights.
Yes.
And I think there's something that Max and a number of other writers in Australia are doing, which is kind of extending the boundary of what a play can be, rather, you know, as in a written play, rather than a devised piece or a group-made piece or a non-traditional collaborative piece. And I think that what Max is, she's got this singular vision, and it's incredibly clear, and a great, the right collaborators are going to release that entirely supports the play, but it will feel like a piece of, you know, writer-led drama that takes you away from how you often think about plays. You know, there's no sofas in it.
No sofas.
There's some motel beds.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah. And translucent walls.
The Australian play without a sofa is a very big
Well,
mistake.
I think most new plays without a sofa make me profoundly uncomfortable.
Stretching the boundaries. Thanks very much.